This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. It's just the three of us.
Yes, even your voice was echoing.
Hello. Hi. All right, welcome to DBL. President Biden is in Washington, D.C. today, my hometown. He flew back after being in isolation with COVID in Delaware. He's going to be addressing the nation tonight from the Oval Office. It'll be the first time we hear from him about his decision to drop out of the presidential race. Meantime, last night was VP Kamala Harris's first campaign rally. It was in Wisconsin in front of a large and very energized crowd. Here is some of what she had to say.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because here's the thing we all here, Wisconsin, know. When our middle class is strong, America is strong. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda will weaken the middle class.
So at one point in the evening, the crowd began chanting, "Lock him up," referring, of course, to former President Donald Trump. So one of the big questions about this race is, should Harris and Trump debate? There are reports that Trump says he wants to debate her multiple times. What do we think? Should they debate? Al, I want to ask you, should they debate, first off? And second of all, what would be the pitfalls of both in these debates?
Well, I mean, Kamala's going to get one shot at the debate. If she does poorly in the first debate, because we know so little about her, that will be the narrative, and that will be an absolute problem for her to try and dig out of a hole that she's already in a hole because she's starting the race so late. The problem with Trump is he'd be debating a prosecutor. And this is what she does. This is what she knows the law. She can twist him up legally. She can maybe have him say some things that he should not. So I think there's and also, I read the transcript this morning because I have no life of Trump's RNC speech. It was a little rambling. It was a little rambling.
Yeah, went off script a lot.
Yes, it was a little rambling. I think if Joe Biden had delivered it, I think that the message would have been different. But I say all that to say this. Trump is not the 2016 Trump, just as I'm not the 2016 Al or you're the 2016 Jeff. You get older, and he's debating a younger, sharper, fresher, quite frankly, this is his third go-round with this now, candidate. And he could really run into something that he's not expecting because this is a candidate. It's almost like in the UFC, you know when a guy drops out 2 weeks before and they get some guy that was just in the gym and's in shape? Yeah. That guy is an underdog, but the other fighter has been training to fight this one guy, and now that guy's gone. Right. So how do you now deal with this new guy? It could be a much easier opponent or an opponent you're not ready for.
Yeah, I think they should debate. You know what I mean? I think the dust has to settle this whole Kamala president thing. I get the popularity. I get people are behind her and all that. The numbers still don't add up. It was a few days and now she's ahead of Trump. Who did they poll? I didn't get asked to poll. I just don't understand all these numbers, how they blow it out of proportion. But, yeah, good for her.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, a new Reuters poll shows Harris leading Trump 44% to 42%. Some people say they are tied, like a new NPR poll. But importantly to know, 9% of voters polled are now undecided, and 21% of them, of independents, are also undecided. So there's more votes to grab. What do you guys think Biden will say real quickly tonight? Anything you're expecting or anything you want to hear?
Jeff, I
think people are going to want an answer. You know, not saying in a bad way or a good way. Right. They want a reason. I have XYZ, or I've been diagnosed with this. Not just I'm choosing this step. I think people want a reason why his decline was so rapid.
So fast.
They want a reason. I don't think he will. I think he's going to be like, I'm stepping aside for the American people. But I think the people want some sort of excuse of why he's stepping down.
He has blank or something.
Yeah. Not saying I want that. I'm just saying,
of course.
I think people want that.
I agree with that.
This is the leader of the free world stepping down.
It's a historic moment.
I do think we should look to see if he throws his full weight behind Kamala and just to really kind of elevate her and say, to kind of anoint her and be like, she is what I did all this for, to kind of set the stage for her. He always said he was a transitional candidate. So let's see if he kind of completes that mission.
Yeah, I think he'll throw his full weight behind Kamala. Republicans are already coming up with ways to attack Harris, saying things like she lied and covered up Biden's health issues. Others are saying she's going to continue with Biden's, quote, failed policies. Then there are people like this. This is Tennessee Rep. Tim Burchett, who said, quote, Biden said he's going to hire a black female for VP. When you go down that route, you take mediocrity. And that's what they have. 100% she was a DEI hire. Her record is abysmal at best. Now, in case you don't know, DEI is sort of a dog whistle word, and it refers to diversity, equity, and inclusion in hiring practices. But other Republicans are going to push back on that line of attack, because here's what former Speaker Kevin McCarthy said about it on Meet the Press. Remember him? Take a look.
Two attacks I've heard Republicans give that are totally stupid and dumb to do is the DEI attack. Okay? The other attack that I would not do is saying that the president has to resign.
Interesting.
That would be an advantage for Kamala. Air Force One is very powerful when it lands somewhere.
So what do we think on the attacks on Harris? What do you think about the DEI mediocrity of Tim Burchett?
I mean, basically he's saying if you're a woman or a woman of color, then you got there not on your own merit. And I think a lot of times what you forget when you're attacking your opponent is that a lot of your constituents that plan to vote for you are hearing. There was a while back where they went after single mothers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that was really aimed at black people and brown people in the inner city. There's a lot of people everywhere that have lost a husband due to addiction, left a husband because of abuse. And they are single mothers out there, you know, going to war every day for 3 kids. And they heard that too. So you have to make sure that when you're attacking women, that the women that were planning to vote for you don't feel attacked as well. So it's a difficult joust that they're going to have to play in terms of attacking her credibility, but not impugning the hard work that their females that plan to vote for them are as well, or people of color as well.
Yeah, and it's impossible to be objective on this and give an opinion without being labeled. I mean, if you say you lean towards Trump because maybe your family's in the military or police, you're already homophobic, racist, and all those other things. Now, if you criticize Kamala Harris in any sort of way for anything she's done in the past, now you're sexist and racist. So it's like we need to have room on the table for objective opinions. Hey, I don't like what Kamala did with this, or I don't like what she did with this. That's it, and not flip the conversation to you're racist and you don't believe in women could do the job. Because if you flip that conversation, I still think Michelle Obama could do better than Kamala Harris, even though the last 3 days we've put her on this pedestal that she's going to landslide and be the next Abe Lincoln. I still think Michelle Obama will do better. So if I'm thinking that, how could you still be racist in that thinking? Isn't that objective thinking rather than racist
yes,
thinking?
but Jeff, you're dealing in nuance. People don't.
But it's like
people don't argue. People
This
argue,
is why people don't talk anymore.
Right, because people, when they read articles, they want to see black woman does this, white Karen does this. They don't have time for. Was this white Karen at the CVS? Did she have a point?
Right.
They never do.
Right.
But theoretically they could. So, but that's paragraph 3.
But I feel like that's going to be the next couple months leading up to the election. It's really going to stifle a lot of conversations, to be honest with you.
I hope that people have conversations about Miss Harris, about her actual policies, and not about her being black. That's what I think you're going to get labeled at. Coming up on DBL, a COVID summer wave spreads across the U.S. Dr. Coley is here to talk about what's driving the surge. And we're talking with comedian and beatboxer Reggie Watts about his new stand-up special. Stay tuned for that.
But yeah, Jeff, to your point, I don't think the Republicans want it with Kamala. She's sharp, and it's like,
It is weird.
Welcome back to TVL. We got Dr. Coley joining us to break down some important health. Who? Well, I'm sorry. And Al Jackson. Okay. First up, President Biden returned to the White House yesterday after several days in isolation for COVID. Dr. Coley, what's going on? Is there a summer surge? Who's most at risk? Everybody I know has COVID.
It's true, isn't it? I have the same problem.
Everybody.
Patients calling me all the time saying, I got COVID, what should I do? So this is unexpected, guys, because what happens during the summer usually? Flu goes down, RSV goes down, respiratory virus activity goes down. Here we're seeing the opposite.
Right.
And we're not seeing the same for flu and RSV and other respiratory viruses. So I think one explanation is just this COVID rebound phenomenon. We're traveling more, we're doing more. But then if that was the only explanation, we should see it for all the respiratory viruses. So I do think it's the variant of COVID that's out there too. It's gotten smarter at tricking our immune system.
I'm very scared that you said that. And it's weird because the name is it's called the flirt variant, which is kind of makes it hot.
It makes it kind of sexy.
Yeah, I know, but it is nothing sexy about COVID, so talk to us about this variant.
So it's a descendant of Omicron. Omicron's that kind of good version of COVID that doesn't make us super sick, except for people who are older, immunocompromised, pregnant. So for example, like our president, he's much older, and so he's at risk for having more complications or more severe infection. Paxlovid, which is that, antiviral, still works against this new variant. So if you're in one of those groups or even kind of in general, just call your doctor up and say, do I need Paxlovid or not? But because this variant tricks our immune system, even people who've had COVID before, been vaccinated, which is most of us at this point, are still at risk for getting it. So the good news, guys, is in a month, we'll have a new updated vaccine for the fall. Kids going back to school, we're kind of getting back into the groove of things. So it's important for all of us to go and get that, just give our immune system that little software update to get it ready for the flirt variant.
Yeah, summertime flirting.
That's right.
Switching gears here, I want to ask you about companies. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, like Hims or Hers, and they run ads like this one. I've seen them all over that offer weight loss medication prescriptions for women. These companies offer consumers quick access to meds. They arrive by mail after a really short telehealth appointment. There are other companies, including from the pharmaceutical industry, that doll out ADHD meds, antidepressants, and more. Seems a little conflicted of interest there. Dr. Coley, what do you think about the Hims and the Hers? I know the Hims do like hair, receding hairlines, ED, and they come in like a brown paper box so no one knows.
Yes, the Get Your Life Together box.
Yeah.
I was telling my girl the other day, it was amazing. I was watching one of those Hers commercials, and they send you syringes in the mail.
Yeah.
Needle.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I'd never seen it on TV.
This is not medicine. This is marketing, and this is business. And you need to be a smart consumer. Don't fall prey to this, because they couch it under the preface of we're giving better access, the primary cares are not available, but you're talking about medicines that can have pretty bad side effects, medicines that you may not need, medicines that may interact with other drugs that you're taking. And guess who's giving it to you? The people who are in the pocket of the drug companies. Right. They're getting financial incentives. They're in partnerships with the drug company. So the company themselves can't prescribe it, but they can pay a provider to do it. So don't fall prey to this, because this is really one of those things where it makes me really sad to say it, but medicine I always thought was this pure thing, you know, because you're talking about somebody's body, somebody's life, somebody's health. But it's as much of a business as everything else in our life, and it's prone to these types of things. So just be cautious. If you need to access telehealth, it's totally okay to do that, especially post-pandemic, we do that. But make sure you're talking to the right person on the other end. Make sure that what they're saying makes sense, and make sure you actually need the medication. Like a receding hairline medicine with syringes coming in the mail.
Right.
To me, is a setup for something bad to happen to you.
She pointed at me when she said
She
receding
really
hairline.
did, and it was like
She
a
was
strong point. Yeah, your hair looks great.
So
It's
how did you
fantastic.
hear about this receding hairline medicine, Dr. Jackson?
Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Coley. DBL Nation, follow Dr. Coley on social media at Pyle Coley MD. Also, be sure to subscribe to her YouTube page. Plus, check out her podcast, Heart of Medicine, wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks again, Dr. Coley. We will be right back. Welcome back to DBL. He's taking it back old school. Comedian Reggie Watts has a new stand-up special, and he's drumming up 90s nostalgia to find the humor of today. Earlier, we spoke with him. Take a look.
We love him, comedian Reggie Watts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, let me ask you this, Reggie. What is it about today's world that you had set your new comedy special, Nevermind, in the 90s? It's genius. I just want to hear from you about it.
Yeah, I just love time travel, and I thought, you know, why not set a comedy special in a different time period? It was just kind of just something I always wanted to do, and when the opportunity came up, I thought, hey, let's just see what happens.
It's going to be so funny. What's your favorite thing about, or what's your funniest thing, let's say, about comedy from the 90s?
I mean, I don't know if I was necessarily hitting like the tone of comedy in the 90s, but I mean, kind of a little bit, Mr. Show maybe. But I think probably just talking about the hopefulness of the internet, of like, you know, back then we thought that the internet was, or at least I thought that the internet was going to be an incredibly benevolent future for all mankind. It was going to be like the betterment. And so I liked talking about that, or coming from that hopeful perspective during the special. It was kind of fun.
How'd that turn out?
I think that's going to be really cool. Now, I don't know if you saw this. A new study says that AI is technically funnier than humans. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think AI will ever take over humor and art?
I don't think so. I think that I can always tell when it's AI or not. It's the nuance. I think like certain things. Here's one thing I did say. It's maybe controversial, but I said that AI will expose mediocrity, meaning that if AI can do it, then it probably means that whoever's doing whatever they're doing, they need to do a better job of it.
That's awesome.
Very good. Really good point.
Totally agree.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Well, Reggie, you're a man of many talents for people that don't know. So explain how you incorporate music into your comedy sets.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up studying music and playing music all my life, and it's just another language to me. So for me, it was just a tool to use in conjunction with what I like to do with humor. So I kind of see them as the same thing. It's just another language, and it just came pretty natural to me. And there's a long precedent for it, like Charo and Zsa Zsa Gabor and Victor Borga, people like that have used comedy and music. This has been around for a really long time. So in a way, it's like I'm just following a tradition.
Okay. Well, in your memoir, you write about growing up biracial in a small town. So what about that experience shaped your sense of humor?
I think being half oppressed and half oppressor, I think it gives me a kind of a unique perspective because, I think if I would have grown up in like a major city with a lot of colored folk around, I think I probably would have ended up in a slightly different zone. But since I grew up in primarily white culture but biracial, it really makes you question what you are and who you are, and then kind of embrace my African American roots. When I would go visit my relatives and things like that, it just made me think about who I am and my identity a lot more intensely, but also made me very observational, made me kind of like, I didn't feel like I was ever a part of one group or another. So it really forced me to become who I am, singularly, I guess.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, so we kick things off talking about your new comedy special, which is set in the 90s. How would you approach the 80s? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, well, if I get to do a special in the 80s, I want it to be like super, super accurate. So I want to like use the cameras they use in the 80s. I want to like get like a Hollywood, wardrobe person and get the makeup right and get like, basically like a Hollywood production, like when like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like how immersive that felt. You really felt like, oh, this is LA in the 70s. I really want to have that accurate feeling to it and make it look like an Eddie Murphy special or a Paula Poundstone
that would
special,
be
whatever.
I just want the intro of that special is to you to pull up to the venue in a white limo with the boomerang. Remember the antenna on the back? Because that meant you had a car phone in there, and that was the next level.
That's good.
Yeah,
All
that's good. That's really good. Reggie, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, DBL Nation. You can stream Reggie's new special, Nevermind, on Veeps. Thanks again, Reggie. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Welcome back. We're in the midst of some of the hottest summer days, and it can really take a toll on your skin, especially in dry climates. So to help add moisture back into your skin, try taking a lukewarm bath instead of a hot one. You can also try adding things to your bath to soothe dry skin, like oatmeal or aloe vera.
This seems like something you would do.
A lukewarm bath?
I think in the summertime
Just
that would feel good.
Tepid water?
With
Okay.
it lukewarm, but the window is open.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, so it's like the
breeze.
room is all the same
Yeah.
temperature. Because you don't want to be sitting in a steaming hot tub in the summertime. That would
Right.
be crazy.
Wouldn't it be funny if you named your kid Luke and his last name was Warm?
Oh, okay. Yes, somebody
Someone
like was
oy
really.
vey, jeez.
Jeff, when was the last time you got in the
My
bathtub?
face didn't even move. Like, I didn't even, not even,
Yeah, when's the last time you took a bath?
I don't know. We're trying to fill time. Do you really put oatmeal in the bath?
I guess that's what they're saying.
Like Quaker oats?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
That-
rolled oats?
Or is there, is a special like beauty oat?
Does anyone know? Cool.
Let's assume it's
Jacuzzi
beauty
can help you take baths the right way. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Call 1-800-996-0017 or visit jacuzzibathremodel.com. I wonder if you just put some Quaker oats, like apples and cinnamon.
Wouldn't you get a little
I don't-
maple syrup? Yeah.
I don't think that you're supposed to do that literally at all.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say no.
Because then you're just cooking yourself.
Yeah, whatever happened to bubbles?
You're right.
Yeah,
Would
keep
you
it old
be
school.
tempted to bite some?
Yeah, probably.
And you're eating your bath water. DBL is new. What camera am I on? DBL's new. Bye, guys, every day. See you tomorrow. What?